Greetings, my friend. Today you are in for an amazing story. I will not procrastinate and start telling it. The Smirnoff family lived in sunny California, where the surfing waves rolled smoothly over the golden sand. Alex and Natasha had been married for 5 years, and their life seemed to be filled with perfect happiness. They had a small, cozy apartment, and they often spent time together, walking on the beach, having parties with friends, and enjoying life. Alex was a keen architect working on large projects, while Natasha was a graphic designer. Their life together was dynamic, full of plans and dreams for the future. Recently, however, Alex noticed that Natasha had become more withdrawn and often spent time with his father, Mikhail. This disturbed him. They spent a lot of time together under the pretext of discussing old photos that his father insisted on sorting. Alex couldn't shake the feeling that something strange was going on between them. One Friday night, after a long day at work, Alex came home earlier than usual. He planned to surprise Natasha and cook dinner. When he entered the kitchen, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee filled the air. He figured Natasha had been home for a while and walked toward the bedroom to wake her up. However, the door was ajar, and something inside told him to peek in. Alex cautiously opened the door and saw a scene that turned his life upside down. On the bed, in their bedroom, he found Natasha and his father hugging and laughing. At that moment, the world he knew shattered. Alex's heart thudded in his chest as if someone had clenched it with a hand. He just stood still, not believing his eyes. Mixed feelings swept over him, from anger to devastation, from betrayal to complete disorientation. How could this have happened? They had always considered themselves loyal to each other. Natasha, noticing him, instantly froze, and horror was reflected in her eyes. Mikhail, seeing his son, stood up and tried to say something, but Alex was not going to listen. His pain and rage were off the charts. He couldn't figure out what to do. He just ran out of the bedroom into the street, where he needed some air to get his thoughts in order. He ran a few blocks along the beach until his legs began to tire. Thoughts of betrayal, deception, and disappointment swirled around in his head, and he didn't know how he was going to move on. Alex felt like his world had fallen apart, and his relationship with Natasha and his father could never be the same again. When he returned home, he saw Natasha standing in the hallway, with eyes full of tears. "Alex, I can explain everything," she tried to say, but he interrupted her. "What can you say that will justify what I just saw? You cheated on me with my father?" His voice shook with anger. Natasha tried to explain her feelings, saying that she lacked attention and emotional connection. She claimed that she and Michael had just found common ground, that there was nothing serious between them. But Alex didn't want to hear any more. He was tired of the lies and manipulation. The next morning, Victor decided that he had to talk to his father. Mikhail had always been a model of courage and wisdom for him, but now his betrayal was an unbearable blow. Meeting him at the cafe, Victor tried to establish a calm tone, but a storm was raging inside him. "How could you, Dad?" he asked, not looking into Mikhail's eyes. "You're ruining my life." Mikhail sighed, lowering his eyes. "I didn't mean for this to happen, son. It just happened. I can't change the way I feel." The brewed emotions soon spilled out and a storm erupted at their meeting. Alex heard his father admit that there was a connection between him and Natasha that he himself had not expected. It was devastating for Alex. Not only had he lost trust in his wife, but also in the person closest to him, his father. Returning home, he packed his things. His mind was telling him to leave this toxic situation, but his heart was ill at ease with reason. The prospect of life without Natasha was frightening, but staying in this relationship was also impossible. Several weeks passed in agony. Alex moved in with a friend who agreed to help. Time passed, and it seemed that his shock gradually subsided, but the blizzard continued to rage in his soul. He couldn't help but think about how to change the situation. Sometimes he caught himself missing Natasha, their memories together, the happiness they had once had, but his pride prevented him from coming to her and forgiving her. Meanwhile, Natasha suffered alone. She realized that she had made a mistake that had turned out to be a disaster. Every day passed in solitary tears and regrets. She couldn't build bridges with Alex and only hoped that someday he might understand her. Several months passed before they were able to meet. Alex finally decided he had to talk to Natasha. Meeting at the same cafe where they used to eat lunch often, he felt his heart racing. They sat down at the table, and the conversation was tense. "I don't know if I'll ever be able to forgive you," Alex began, "but I'm here to let you know. It's been hard for me." Natasha looked at him hopefully. "I understand, and I'm not apologizing. I just want you to know that I love you, and I'm sorry." They still had a long way to go with different emotions and thoughts, but in that moment, they both felt that there was no going back anymore. The way forward was unclear, but they had to find their paths separately to learn from their mistakes. Alex knew that this lesson was painful, but he also knew that life went on. He had to rebuild himself and rediscover happiness, whatever it was. Thank you for your attention. Come to my channel. I have many stories, such exclusive stories. Subscribe to the channel, click on the heart, click on the bell, not to miss my next stories.